Hi everyone, it's me, Cheryl. I hope you're all alright. I've got an enormous amount of stuff to show you. And please don't look behind me and think I've actually combated all of my yarn stash. Yeah, I know it's kind of empty in the shelf behind me back there. But we got word from the plumbers saying that they can do our guest bathroom out in September. But the thing is, they can only give a loose date because they don't know how long each job they're doing will actually transpire to be. They can only estimate. So we're obviously in a queue targeted for September. It's now the 20th of September and we've not heard from them yet. So basically I just wanted everything out of this room because they're going to tear that room to bits. It's going to be very dusty. So all this craft stuff is in my youngest son's bedroom, apart from a couple of boxes there which have project bags in and they can slide under his bed. I've just left them there for the moment. So yeah, I haven't worked my way through all the yarn stash, no way. That will take a lifetime and a half, or maybe 2 lifetimes. You know, I've got to be realistic. Okay. So I've got to show you lots of finished objects. Yeah, I've been working really hard. So a couple of the finished objects are, I'm going to use the word legacy objects, you know, UFOs. Okay, because that's the best way to describe them. So the first one I did, I finished off this crocheted hat. It's very nice, isn't it? This is a Bob Wilson pattern. I thought it was a Zoe pattern, and that, I think why I got confused was because Bob Wilson did the video demonstration of Zoe's pattern, but she also did her own pattern, and you can tell the difference because one uses post stitches, and that's why I thought it was a Zoe pattern. When I thought, oh yes, this is Zoe's pattern, because Zoe uses a lot of post stitches, except this time she didn't. But when I do this, it makes the hat reversible. Okay, so one row is double crochet, the other row is post double crochet, front post. That was one of my hairs, obviously, when I modelled it. So be mindful of that, whether you want post stitches or not. If you want a reversible hat, then obviously Claire's is the pattern to use. And if you want the regular double crochet one, which basically looks like this from the outside, it's Zoe's. Yeah. So anyway, but for all this time, you know, when this was sat in the frog box, no, the wardrobe, in the my UFO section, I always believed this was a Zoe hat pattern. Oh. Anyway, this is it. This is for CJ, and it fits him lovely. So that's one thing ticked off my UFOs. Yay! I've put my Addies away in the cupboard at the moment, just to clear some room on the desk. Although you should see the desk right now. Actually, it's just all UFOs and projects, what I'm talking to you about. So I did this hat ages ago on the Addie, and it's double-sided. So it's a reversible hat. Okay, and it's with King Cole, I'm sure it's King Cole Splash? King Cole Splash? It's a DK weight yarn anyway, but it does make it light and airy, and the two-sidedness pads it out a bit, which is really nice. But I also did a scarf, which I will have showed you many months ago, but it wasn't finished, and all it needed was some tassels. It took me ages to put some tassels on the end, and I have done that now. I don't know whether to trim them or just leave them as they are. Not that long, I don't think. They're alright. But anyway, at least that's another project done. And I was gonna donate these last year. My son's college were having a Macmillan coffee morning, and I saw these and I thought, oh, I'll donate that. And I thought, I can't. I haven't finished that yet. So it took me a further almost year to actually put the tassels on. but I didn't want to let go of this without this. So if there's any other thing going on, I can donate them too. That's where they're going to go. My finished objects are using scrap yarn. Well, it's scrap yarn. Well, that one is. This one qualifies for the scrap yarn. This one doesn't. This was a whole skein of yarn. Well, that was left over from this. Just, do you remember the loom hat I started last time? And I did it on the 48 peg loom. I pulled it off there. It was just too tight because this yarn was too thick for that. And I ended up doing it on the pink loom. So that's a lovely hat for CJ. Have I tried it on him yet? I can't even remember if I took it downstairs to show him. I know I tried it on myself and I thought, well, it'll definitely fit him then. There you go. Okay, so it'll definitely fit him. Now this one is made from the scrap yarn from that and the scrap yarn from the other hat that I tried to knit him. Because I got black, grey and green. And the other hats, they weren't too good. I was having difficulty working them, which is why I decided to put this on the loom. Anyway, this hat was done on the orange loom, the 36 peg loom, which it's a child size hat, and that's why I didn't do a brim in the same way, just did a roll up brim. That would definitely fit a child, so that's for the donation pile. But I was actually using this green yarn with that one, and I was having an awful time working without making jogs. I've only just learned how to do a jogless stripe. Anyway, you can't see it. I can't see it. Can you? I can't see where the jog is now. And I thought, is that all you do? You just skip that first stitch? If I'd have known. So anybody who doesn't know this, right, you start your new colour, and just as you get back round to the first stitch of your new colour, you ignore that stitch, skip it, and then knit the next one. And that's it. Basically, it elongates that first stitch, which drags it up to prevent the jog in there. And I can't tell where it is, so it obviously works. If I can be fooled, maybe somebody else can be, I don't know. More finished objects. Now, I'm going to insert a couple of videos here because these were better being shown on the mannequin, but I can talk to you a bit more about them here. So I'll insert those clips. This is the Kate shawl, which I finished a few weeks ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I don't know why it's called a shawl because it's more like a collar, but never mind. Actually, when it's all opened out, it does look like a crescent-shaped shawl, but this is this part is very ruffly, so I'd be hesitant to put that on. I would have fewer of these ruffles if it was going to be like a crescent-shaped shawl. So I put the button on here. There's a little button underneath which goes through one of the yarn overs, but I ended up putting another one here. Where is it? There. Because that felt insecure. I mean, I know this is... I managed to make the flower okay, which was this bit. And in the pattern it had something like that, and I wasn't sure what it was, whether it was a brooch or what. So I actually used a shank button and secured it with a brooch pin there. So that actually only goes through one layer. It could go through 2, and maybe that is what would hold it on. But I just wanted, it just felt, even when it did, I did have it through 2, it didn't feel quite secure, so I decided to put another button there. One that was both large enough but not too small to go through the, you know, the yarn overs here. Let me find one for you. There you go. They're all the same size. They're not double yarn overs, so they're all single yarn overs. So I've got the size of the button that would fit through there without falling out. So that's that, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. It's beautiful, isn't it? And for that I used Wendy Maude, which is like 50-50 acrylic wool. So yeah, let me see if I can turn her around. Oh no, I can't turn her around. But anyway, that's what it looks like from the back. Okay, for this one, the Kate shawl, this is where it looks like when it's opened out. It's a very nice crescent shape. I'm just bowing it in the middle there so you can see. And it was worked in 2 sections, which I'm sure I told you about. Like this middle bit downwards, because I started with 209 stitches and ended up with 609 stitches. It was horrendous. The pattern's fine, no problem with the pattern. And then you picked up all them stitches along that edge, that centre edge there, and worked upwards with the garter stitch with basically short rows, that's it. And then you ended up with these lovely picots. So that's all it is, and you can see how it can qualify as a shawl. But I thought, well, that's interesting. I put it on myself and it didn't look right. So I think it does look better as a collar. And there's the flower made. I'm really not good at embellishments. I was able to knit the parts fine, but it's putting it together. I'm not really good at finishing things off in that way. This is what the feather and fan shawl looks like from the back. I had quite a lot of yarn left over, and if I'd have known I was going to have so much yarn left over, I would have increased the garter bit more before I even started this bit. And you know, I still might. I might frog out these bits. I can actually turn this round. I did. Let me see if I can do it again now without pulling it off. There we go. That was just trailing there at the moment, but I'm sure I'll have to rethink that bit, the front bit. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I was thinking it would have been better if it was longer, because you can see it's beautiful going over there like that, but normally you want it a little bit. It's like too much of a gap here, isn't it? And that's not the impression I got. It would be like, I mean, just to lay over there like that, it's absolutely beautiful. But I would want to move this over here, and you see what I mean? I would have to seriously move things around in order to get it. I'm not making a good job of this, am I? There is a reason why I'm not a window dresser, and that's because, as I've just demonstrated here. Okay, I've just turned it around and done this. It does like bend quite a lot in here, so I just thought I'd neaten it up a little bit so you can see the feather and fans. Looks okay. I don't know what's happened to the spare piece. Oh, there it is. That's, yeah, I would definitely much prefer if this was a bit longer. Because of that, otherwise you're going to have a pin there and a pin there. Yeah, definitely needs to be a bit longer in the garter section. And this is how it looks when it's not on the model. It's beautiful, isn't it? And this yarn is by our lovely Pam, hand dyed, PJ Matilda, Pam Matilda. She uses a couple of variations of that name. And like I mentioned in the video, I'm thinking of just ripping it back to the beginning of the feather and fan and growing it more on the garter before I do the feather and fan, because this is how much yarn I've got left, and I do feel this is a bit short. But you know what, I'm having difficulty deciding which was the end, because I've sewed it in that well. It's one end or the other end was the end. One end or the other end was the end, of course, where I completely finished it. And I thought, well, just for it's different colour yarns, maybe I'll be able to identify it. Well, no, I can't, because look, it's the same both ends. So I'm looking at something grey here because that's where I finished there, like a greyish white. So sometimes you can do things too well. And I'm thinking, well, how am I going to figure out this? There's one of two ways I can do it, and I think, oh, if I can't figure it out, what I might do, because this edge here is basically a crocheted edge, and it's crocheted into, you basically knit 2 stitches off and then you crochet 4. It might have to be that the best thing I can do with that is find the centre, because I'm either going to go one way or the other. It's either cut the red wire or cut the yellow wire. Snip it right in the middle of the crocheted edge so it's not going to ruin anything else, and then find which way it pulls. So I won't be sacrificing a whole lot of yarn, because it's either going to go one way or the other, isn't it? But I just cannot tell where I finished it. God, I must be good. As well as all my UFOs in the boxes behind me, which I'm contemplating bit by bit, doesn't stop me actually from starting other things. So I've got this really, really thick yarn, which I got from Dunelm Mills. Oh, don't be fooled by the name Mills. It's just the part of the it's the store name. It's not a mill. It's a store. It's really thick, and I thought, oh, yeah, it came with a cowl pattern. I think it's a cowl or a scarf. I'll make something else because I've got another one of these, like a blue. So this is get a couple of hats out of there, because really, when I started working with it, I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with the yarn. I just thought, I can't be bothered with this. I just don't want to do much with it. So that's it. It's on a ring, a loom ring, and that's it. That was a cop-out, wasn't it? Now this yarn, that's it. It's because the cord is big. I'm on interchangeable needles and the cord is huge, because potentially it might be. I'm making a this yarn. Oh, it smells nice. It's from a sock club yarn. I've signed up for a 3-month sock yarn club subscription from Devon Sun Yarns, and it's in here. Now this, never mentioned it before, did I? I've had this since February, and I know exactly when I got it. I know exactly the day it came, because I was marvelling at the timing, because I took my car into town. There's a garage just in town for a service, and it's MOT, and it was going to be there for a few hours. So I thought, oh, I'm not hanging around all that time. I can't bear to be in town for more than an hour if I don't need anything, you know. So I decided to just get the bus home, and then when it was time, go and get the bus back. So it must have happened on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and it was between the time when I came home as the time I left to go and get my car that this arrived. Now I ordered this in the January and it came just beginning of February-ish. I would have to check when I got my car serviced. It was that date. Yeah, it's a Yarnit. It works great. Anyway, so that aside, that's the yarn in there. And the reason why it's not caked, like that was, this was Pam's yarn and it caked wonderfully on the Swift. This one, it just tangled from the get-go, and I had to take it off the Swift, put it on my knee, and it took 5 days of patience. Basically I was doing it like 20 minutes at a time throughout the day, just hand doing it and making sure I wasn't pulling it tight or anything like that. But I figured it out in the end. I got it there. That was a monumental moment. Anyway, this shawl I'm making, you can't really see much at the moment. It's not really showing you in all its glory at the moment because it's just barely begun. It's called the Spindrift Shawl, and the name Helen keeps popping up because it's a paid for pattern. However, you can get it free if you sign up for her newsletter. or the course, and I keep getting periodical emails about like yarn choices and shawl making and stuff, and it's really good stuff. So, and the name Helen is there, so I'm concluding that Helen's the designer. I totally forgot. That's terrible, isn't it? I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm sorry, I keep looking up there. The screen's up there and I'm not used to it. Where's Spindrift? There we are. Does it have her name up here? Yes, by Helen Stewart. It is Helen. So the lady who sends those emails as well, this is the lady who designed it. Oh, why didn't I show you the picture of the shawl? It's very beautiful. Okay, that's it. Can you see that? Okay, so mine's going to look like that except these colours. It's really nice, isn't it? I'll just put that away so I can show you another one, because I nipped into a store that I haven't been in for a while, and they sell yarn, and I picked up a couple of skeins of yarn only because I like the look of it. I should stop doing that. And I think it's King Cole Shine. The yarn label must be in the other room. And of course I did start something straight away. I was going to crochet something, and I started to do the pattern, and I was thinking, this is the wrong yarn for that pattern, so I frogged it. And I thought, what else can I use? What can I make with it? I'm a bit unsure. So I thought, I wonder if I could. Ravelry is a huge database, and I did wonder, could I type in the name of the yarn and see what people have made with that yarn? And sure enough, you can. You can search on yarns. So I thought, okay. And then there was loads of projects that people have made things with, knit and crochet projects, and I picked one. There was a few that I picked. I thought they look really good, and one of them just happened to be in my library anyway, because I was intending on doing it. So I thought, well, why not this? And it's Age of Brass and Steam Shawl. I think it's a kerchief, a neckerchief. That's what I've done so far on it. But I will need a bigger cord, because look where I am with them. So yeah, the Ravelry member who has made the Age of Brass and Steam Shawl with this type of yarn, hers was in red, like red tones. It looks great, it looks absolutely fantastic, so I know this is going to look equally as good. The only thing I would say is that I don't think this shiny yarn goes with the name Age of Brass and Steam, because that to me tells me something. It's like historical, it's not modern and shiny. So although the shawl looks great, I think the name is... I need a more rustic coloured yarn, I think, for the Age of Brass and Steam. Just something more traditional and earthy, I think. Right, but apart from that, it's, at the end of the day, it's a shawl, isn't it? Gotta name it something. Right, one more finished object before I can show you some books, because you know what? Last time I spoke with you, I bought a couple of books, and then since then I've got 3 more, and you know what? I never show you books really, do I? So I figured I would do that. Last time I spoke with you, or was it the time before that? I made a Pokeball hat, which was a Margaret Orlando pattern, and I made a Pokeball, which was a pattern I found on YouTube, and the link is in my description from that other video. Well, I decided to make something else, and I couldn't find a pattern for it, so I kind of like winged it. And it's a flask holder for my son's CJ. He takes milk into college in his little flask. There's his flask. And I made a Pokeball flask holder or bottle holder. And now I know why you need cotton yarn, because I've done half stretch. But I secured it very well because I knew it would, but I think if I made this again I would definitely make it in cotton. because of that. But other than that, I mean, everybody loves it and is college saying, hey, did you make that as well? Like, yeah. So they know I make things. Okay, books. The first two books I'm going to show you, are they crochet dictionaries? Oh yes, they are. I've got a lot of stitch dictionaries, right? Differing kinds, but of course I'm drawn to books a lot anyway. And I thought, oh, I'll get these ones. These are really, really nice. So these ones are crochet by the same person, Linda P. Sharper. So that's it, this one. You know what, that looks backwards in the screen there, and I don't know what you're going to see. I might have to flip the image. This is my right hand, that's my left hand. I don't know what you're going to see. Anyway, so that's that one. I got it from the same place. Did I get them from eBay? Yeah, I did, I got them from eBay. And this one is the borders. Because I'm looking at making crochet shawls as well. So I was looking at the borders, and did I do a shawl recently that was crochet? There is a reason why I ask, and I was just thinking of like growing the shawl up from the border rather than down the other way. I can't remember what was in my mind when I got these. There was something very firmly in my mind when I got these. Alright, moving on. Since then I was looking at knitted borders because I was doing this from the Kate shawl, and I said the top part was like you did the ruffle border first and then you did short rows. Well, of course the light bulb went off in my head and I thought, I don't have any knitting stitch. Well, I do a little bit of knitting stitch book, but nothing of borders or anything like that. So I've got that. Knitting on the Edge, which has lots of borders, and I've seen some that I really like, and I thought, ooh, they're looking really good. So I could apply any of those, I suppose, or some of those to a short row garter stitch border, body part, and there's a shawl. So that's that one. And then I took a craftsy class. I've actually managed to get all the way through, but I keep centering on the lessons 4, 5, 6 at the moment. I'm really focused on that and doing all the work in there. And it's lace shawl design, Miriam Felton, and I've been charting my own stitch charts from, I've picked stitches from my stitch book here. Yeah, that's it. You can see the name now, I think. So these are all written stitch patterns, and at first you're like, oh, there's a lot of text there. Sometimes there is, but I've been learning how to chart them, and I'm really enjoying it. I love it. I love learning new things. And the other book I got, I've never had one of these before. It's got knitting stitches and crochet stitches. And the beauty of this one is, I'm going to have to work hard to this as well. They have got charts. But the language, no idea what it says. So, luckily at the front it's got like, it shows you how you perform the stitches which are in the charts. You know, just basic diagrams like that. So you relate that particular symbol to that particular stitch. Some of these are common stitch symbols anyway, but sometimes when you're creating your own charts and you're doing all these fancy stitches, I suppose people have got to make their own symbols up, unless they're standardised, which I can't imagine they'd be standardised globally yet, not many of them anyway. Then you really need that bit at the front. And of course I don't think there'd be room for every single stitch that's different, so I think they put the common ones there and the ones that are totally different. Or maybe it is all of them. But anyway, it doesn't matter that it's in a foreign language. I just like the challenge because, you know, I watch foreign videos on YouTube, you know, about crochet and knitting. I watch the Russian ones. Is it Greek? Yeah, sometimes because I put the title in the translate and it comes up as Greek. So it's Greek, and there's German, and so I haven't watched many Japanese, but I do watch different languages, and it doesn't matter that they're speaking, or Spanish as well. And it doesn't bother me. But mind you, you scroll down and people say, oh, can't you put the closed captions in English? And I think, just shut up and watch, you'll be fine. Because I pick up words, common words, like for stitch and for stitch and what's the other word? It's definitely the word stitch, and you can tell by the counting, you know what numbers they're counting, and you can just see the video is perfectly fine. You just watch what they're doing. You can even turn the volume off and just watch, it's fine. But yeah, I watch them as well, just to learn stuff, because you can get some amazing videos from the foreign teachers as well. You know, they're just, sometimes they're doing different things to what we're doing, and if you can't find like the particular thing you want to do in the English videos, look in the foreign videos. It's wonderful. They seem to do different things, so I think they must have different communities of crafting within the knitting or the crochet. That is everything. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and I shall see you next time with hopefully more finished objects. Take care everyone, bye bye.